Welcome to Jesus. Our mission is to spread God's love and truth through powerful Bible stories. We work hard to bring these stories to life, inspiring faith in every heart. Today we share the miracle of Jesus feeding the 5,000. Let's begin. Jesus had crossed the Sea of Galilee with his disciples, and a large crowd began to gather around him. People came from far and wide, eager to hear his teachings and see his miraculous healings. They believed Jesus was the Messiah. Jesus welcomed the crowd and began teaching them about the kingdom of God. He spoke of love, faith, and hope, and healed those who were sick, showing his deep compassion for all. The crowd was mesmerized by his wisdom and grace. As the hours passed, the people continued to listen intently. The day grew late, and the disciples began to notice that the crowd was getting hungry. They realized the people had been so focused on Jesus, they hadn't thought to bring food. Concerned about the situation, the disciples approached Jesus and said, "It's getting late, and the people are hungry. We should send them away so they can buy food in the nearby villages." They thought it was the only solution. Jesus responded in a way the disciples didn't expect. He said, "You give them something to eat." The disciples were confused, not knowing how to respond. How could they possibly feed so many people with so little? They replied, "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." It was a small amount of food for such a large crowd. The disciples could see no way to solve the problem. Yet Jesus wasn't focused on the problem. He was focused on God's provision. Instead of worrying, Jesus invited the disciples to bring what they had to him. He knew that with God's blessing, even the smallest offering could become something miraculous. Jesus was about to show them the power of faith. Jesus asked the crowd to sit down on the grass. Then he took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up to heaven, and gave thanks. In that moment, Jesus was showing his gratitude to God for what they had, no matter how small it seemed. Jesus broke the loaves into pieces and began handing them to the disciples. As the disciples went around distributing the food, they noticed something incredible. There was more than enough to feed everyone, and it never ran out. Everyone in the crowd, from the youngest child to the oldest adult, was able to eat until they were satisfied. What started as 5 loaves and 2 fish had become an abundant feast, enough for thousands of people to enjoy. The crowd was amazed. They had witnessed something impossible. Jesus had turned a small meal into a banquet for thousands. It was a demonstration of God's power and his ability to provide for every need. The people were overjoyed by what they had seen. They knew that only a miracle like this could come from God. Jesus didn't just provide food for their bodies, he gave them a glimpse of God's love and care for them in a tangible way. After everyone had eaten and was full, the disciples went around collecting the leftovers. To their amazement, they gathered 12 baskets of leftover food. This was a sign that God's blessings are always more than enough. Jesus had not only fed the crowd, but had provided an abundance of food. The 12 baskets full of leftovers showed that God's provision is limitless. No one leaves empty-handed when they trust in him. After the miracle, the people began to leave, their hearts filled with gratitude. They knew that Jesus was someone truly special, sent by God to fulfill his promises. This miracle was a testament to the power of God at work through Jesus. The miracle of feeding the 5,000 teaches us a powerful lesson. It shows us that God provides for our needs, often in ways we don't expect. When we trust him, he takes what little we have and multiplies it to bless others. Sometimes we may feel that we have little to offer. But when we place our trust in God and give him what we have, he can multiply it beyond measure. This miracle reminds us that with God, there is always more than enough. The feeding of the 5,000 is not just a story about a miracle. It's a story about faith, trust, and the abundant love of God. Jesus is always ready to provide for us, no matter how big or small our needs may be. As followers of Christ, we are called to trust in God's provision, even when the odds seem impossible. Just as Jesus provided for the crowd, he will provide for us. Our faith in him is what opens the door for his miracles in our lives. Thank you for watching. We hope this story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 has encouraged you to trust in God's provision. Please like, share, and subscribe to Jesus to help us continue spreading His love and His word. God bless you.